Hi, everyone, and welcome back to From Drift to Direction, the podcast where we talk about what it really takes to go from feeling lost to finding your path, from playing it safe to building a life that actually excites you. I'm your host, and today we're diving into something that completely changed how I think about success, growth, and achieving goals. We're talking about a book that transformed my entire approach to building the life I wanted. The book is Atomic Habits by James Clear. Now, I know everyone talks about this book, but here's the thing. I'm not here to give you a book report. I'm here to tell you how the concepts in this book actually changed my life, how they helped me build businesses, travel to over 65 countries, create communities, start this podcast, and build a life that I'm genuinely excited about every single day. And the biggest lesson, success doesn't come from one massive action. It comes from small habits repeated constantly over time. So, if you've ever felt like you're chasing big goals but not making real progress, if you've ever wondered why motivation fades and nothing sticks, or if you're just curious about how tiny daily actions can completely transform your life, this episode is for you. Grab your coffee, settle in, and let's get into it. So, let me start with the one line from Atomic Habits that hit me like a truck. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. That one sentence changed everything for me. Because here's what I used to do. I'd set these big, ambitious goals: lose weight, write a book, travel the world, build a business. And I'd get all fired up about them. I'd feel motivated, I'd feel ready. And then nothing would happen. Or I'd start strong for a week, maybe 2 weeks, and then life would get busy, or I'd lose motivation and I'd fall right back into my old patterns. Sound familiar? The problem wasn't the goals. The problem was that I had no systems to support them. I wanted to lose weight, but I had no daily eating or exercise routine. I wanted to write a book, but I had no writing habits. I wanted to travel the world, but I had no system for saving money or planning trips. I was focused entirely on the outcome, the big shiny goal, and I was ignoring the daily actions that would actually get me there. And that's the trap most of us fall into. We think success is about setting the right goal, but really, success is about building the right systems. Because your goals are just a direction, your systems are what actually move you forward. Let me take you back to before I read Atomic Habits, before I understood any of this. I was someone who loved the idea of big changes. I'd get inspired by something, a video, a book, a conversation, and I'd decide, okay, this is it. I'm going to completely transform my life. And I tried to do everything at once. I'd wake up on a Monday and decide I'm going to start waking up at 5 a.m., go to the gym every day, read for an hour, eat perfectly clean, work on my side business, meditate, journal, all of it, starting today. And you know what happened? I'd last maybe 3 days, maybe a week if I was really motivated. And then I'd burn out. I'd miss one day, then 2 days, and then I'd feel like I failed. So I just give up completely and go back to my old routine. The problem was that I was trying to change everything overnight. I was relying on motivation and willpower. And motivation is great. It gets you started, but it doesn't keep you going. What keeps you going is systems, habits, the small, repeatable actions that don't require motivation because they're just part of who you are. And I didn't have any of that. I was chasing outcomes without building the foundation. So when I picked up Atomic Habits, I wasn't expecting much. I thought it would be another self help book with same recycled advice. But James Clear broke it down in a way that actually made sense. He talked about how small changes, 1% improvements, compound over time. How if you get just 1% better every single day, you'll be 37 times better by the end of the year. Not because of one big breakthrough, but because of tiny, consistent improvements that add up. And he explains that the key to building lasting habits isn't willpower or motivation. It's making the habits so small, so easy that you cannot fail. That was the shift for me. I stopped trying to overhaul my entire life. I stopped setting these massive, overwhelming goals. Instead, I started focusing on one small habit at a time, and I used something James Clear calls habit stacking. Okay, so what's habit stacking? It's simple. Instead of trying to build a brand new habit from scratch, you attach it to something you already do every day. You take an existing routine, something that's already automatic, and you stack a new habit on top of it. For example, after I make up my morning coffee, I will read 10 pages. After I brush my teeth at night, I will write down 3 things I'm grateful for. After I sit down at my desk, I will spend 5 minutes planning my day. See how that works? You're not trying to remember to do something random at some random time. You are linking the new habit to something you already do without thinking, and that makes it so much easier to stick. This was huge for me because I realized I didn't need to rely on motivation. I didn't need to wait until I felt like it. I just needed to build a system that made the habit automatic. So I started small. I picked one habit and I stacked it, and that one habit changed everything. Let me tell you about the first habit I built using this approach, reading. Now, I've always wanted to be someone who read more. I'd buy books, get excited about them, read a chapter or two, and then they'd sit on my shelf collecting dust. Sound familiar? The problem wasn't that I didn't want to read. The problem was that I had no system for it. So I made it simple. I used habit stacking. Every morning, after I made my coffee, I would sit down and read for 10 minutes. That's it, just 10 minutes. Not an hour, not a whole book, just 10 minutes. And here's the thing, 10 minutes is so small that I couldn't fail. Even on my busiest days, I could find 10 minutes. At first, it felt almost too easy. Like, is this even going to make a difference? But I kept doing it every single day, coffee, then 10 minutes of reading. Now, around this time, I read Atomic Habits by James Clear, and that book didn't create my reading habit. I already had that going. But what it did was give me a framework to understand why my system was working. It showed me how to strengthen it, how to make it stick even better, and how to think about it in terms of identity rather than just willpower. The principles in Atomic Habits, habit stacking, the 1% improvements, identity based habits, they all validated what I was already doing and helped me lean into it even more intentionally. And that small habit, 10 minutes a day, compounded over time. After a few weeks of consistent reading, something shifted. I stopped feeling like something I had to do. It started feeling like something I just did. It became part of my routine, part of my identity. I wasn't someone who wanted to read more. I was a reader. After a few months, I was reading a new book every month. I was becoming a consistent reader. And I was getting so much value from the books and ideas I was consuming. So, more than 2 years ago, as a natural extension of having become this consistent reader, I started the Radiant Growth Society book club. What began as a simple personal habit evolved into a thriving community focused on personal development and growth. We read together, we discuss ideas, we hold each other accountable. And it started with 10 minutes a day and a cup of coffee, a system that Atomic Habits helped me understand and strengthen. That's the power of small habits. That's what James Clear is talking about. You don't need to make massive changes. You just need to start small and stay consistent. Another example, my morning routine. Today I wake up at 5:30 a.m. almost every single day, and it's not a struggle. It's not something I have to force myself to do. It's just part of who I am now. But it didn't start that way. A few years ago, I was not a morning person. I'd hit snooze 5 times. I drag myself out of bed at the last possible minute. I'd start my day feeling rushed and reactive. And I kept telling myself, I want to wake up early. I want to have a morning routine. But one thing, it didn't make it happen. So I apply what I learned from Atomic Habits. I didn't try to go from waking up at 8 a.m. to 5:30 a.m. overnight. I started small. I set my alarm 15 minutes earlier, just 15 minutes, and I stacked the habit on it. As soon as I woke up, I drink a glass of water and open the blinds. That's it. No big routine, no pressure. Just wake up 15 minutes earlier, drink water, open the blinds. And I did that for 2 weeks until it felt automatic. Then I moved my alarm another 15 minutes earlier, and I added another small habit, 5 minutes of stretching. And I kept doing that, small adjustments, small additions, building the system one piece at a time. And eventually, I was waking up at 5:30 a.m. Not because I was more motivated, not because I had more willpower, but because I had built a system that made it easier. And the results? Incredible. I have more time in the morning to focus on what matters. I'm more productive. I'm more focused. I feel like I'm in control of my day instead of my day controlling me. And it all came from starting small and building the system. Here is one of the most powerful concepts from Atomic Habits: identity based habits. Most people focus on what they want to achieve. I want to lose 20 pounds. I want to read more. I want to start a business. But James Clear says the real transformation happens when you shift your focus from outcomes to identity. Instead of saying, I want to read more, you say, I'm a reader. Instead of saying, I want to get in shape, you say, I'm someone who takes care of their body. See the difference? When you focus on outcomes, you are relying on external results to validate you. And if you don't see results fast enough, you give up. But when you focus on identity, every small action becomes proof of who you are. Every time you read for 10 minutes, you're reinforcing the identity, I'm a reader. Every time you wake up at 5:30 a.m., you're reinforcing the identity, I'm someone who values their mornings. And the more you reinforce that identity, the easier the habit becomes. Because you're not trying to do something that feels foreign. You're just being who you are. This is how lasting change happens, not through willpower, not through motivation, but through identity. You become the person who does the thing, and then the thing becomes effortless. Here's the truth: whatever you want in life, better health, more money, stronger relationships, personal fulfillment, Habits are the bridge that gets you there. You want to be healthier? Build the habit of moving your body every day. You want to build wealth? Build the habit of saving and investing consistently. You want better relationships? Build the habit of showing up and being present. You want to grow as a person? Build the habit of reading, learning, reflecting. Habits are the mechanism, they're the daily actions that compound into the life you want. And the beautiful thing is, you don't need to change everything at once. You just need to start with one small habit. Build a system, stay consistent, and let it compound. Let me tie this all back to my own life. I've built businesses. I've invested in real estate. I've created communities like Radiant Growth Society. I've started this podcast. And when I look back at all of that, none of it happened from one massive action. None of it happened overnight. It all came from small habits, repeated constantly over time. The habit of saving money every month, that's what allowed me to travel. The habit of reading and learning, that's what gave me the knowledge to build businesses. The habit of showing up and creating content, that's what built this podcast and this community. Every single achievement in my life is the result of small, consistent actions compounded over time. And that's what Atomic Habits taught me. That's what changed everything. Success isn't about one big breakthrough, it's about showing up every single day and doing the work. All right, let's make this actionable. Here are the three things you can start doing today to build better habits. 1. Start small. Make it so easy you cannot fail. Don't try to read for an hour, read for 10 minutes. Don't try to work out for 90 minutes. Do 5 push ups. The goal is consistency, not intensity. Once the habit is automatic, you can scale it up. 2. Use habit stacking. Attach your new habit to something you already do. After I make my coffee, I will read 10 pages. After I brush my teeth, I will do 10 push ups. After I sit down at my desk, I will write for 5 minutes. Make it specific. Make it tied to an existing routine. That's how you make it stick. 3. Focus on identity, not outcomes. Stop saying, I want to read more. Start saying, I'm a reader. Stop saying, I want to get in shape. Start saying, I'm someone who takes care of their body. Every small action you take is a vote for the person you want to become. Cast enough votes and you become that person. The habits you choose today are creating the life you live tomorrow. Not someday, not eventually, tomorrow. Every time you choose to read instead of scroll, you are building a better future. Every time you choose to save instead to spend, you're building a better future. Every time you choose to show up and do the work, you're building a better future. This is not motivational fluff. This is real. This is how it works. I've lived it. I've seen it. I've built a life I'm proud of because I changed my habits. And you can do the same. Start small, build a system, stay consistent, and watch what happens. From Drift to Direction is not just a podcast, it's a choice. And you get to make that choice every single day. Change your habits, change your life. I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks for being here with me today. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love to hear about it. Send me a message. Share it with someone who needs to hear this or leave a review. It really does help more people find the show.